Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is also to the Premier. Premier, yesterday in this place you reassured us your government is looking to get the best outcome for the young people at Brahmini in the Northern Territory and is engaged directly with the participants in the program. You've reassured us again of that today. We've now seen video evidence of at least one young Tasmanian, a long-term participant in the program, on the loose in a borrowed vehicle, doing more than 100 kilometres an hour on a remote back road. I'm sure you'll agree it's heartbreaking viewing. Do you really believe the program is delivering the best outcomes for these young Tasmanians? Do you really believe the best outcome is almost 3,000 kilometres away? Do you believe we can't do better for them here? Premier, why won't you step in to bring them home? And do you recognise that rather than banishing these troubled young people to the Northern Territory, far from family and community, there's a compelling need for a Tasmanian-based, appropriately resourced and supported bush therapy program? And will you commit to making it happen as a priority?
Thank you. The Honourable the Premier.
Madam Speaker, I thank the Leader of the Greens for that question. Again, look, I thank you for asking that in a relatively sensitive way in terms of this particular matter. Look, I just want to make the point in terms, my advice is that the government has examined opportunities for the development of a program in the past to deliver similar outcomes to the MCID program. We have looked at it, as I understand it, and we will continue to do so. We will continue to do so. This included a request, an ROI, back in 2018, which unfortunately did not identify any suitable programs amongst the small number of Tasmanian community organisations who made submissions at that time. I understand that we've continued to engage and work with Aboriginal communities and organisations to scope an on-country residential program delivered in Tasmania by Aboriginal people. We're also open to further discussions with service providers who've expressed interest in presenting service models that may assist these complex complex situations that these young children present in. I would hope that we could reduce the need to use an external program like MCID, and the government is looking at what it can do. But I would come back to this point, and you asked me about what I genuinely feel about this situation. Based on the advice that I have received to date, reaching in and removing those children out of that program immediately is not the right thing to do for those children. If that advice changes, then in a heartbeat I would do that.
What else are they not telling you?
I have thought long and hard about this situation. The easy political thing to do would be for that knee-jerk reaction and to bring those kids home. That's the easy thing to do. The difficult thing to do is to ask people in this place to think about the impact that this public discourse is having on those kids. What it's doing to those kids that are in a therapeutic program at the moment, on the advice that I've received, are taking steps forward in terms of being able to repair their own lives. Now, today you will receive a briefing from people that are on the ground. You'll be able to form your own judgment in terms of the steps that have been taken and form your own judgments about the steps that will need to be taken into the future. I would urge you to receive that briefing, to take on board that information, but first and foremost I would ask everyone in this place to put the kids front and centre in our thinking.
I think we all are.
To put the kids front and centre in our thinking, because that is the most important thing. And I must admit, I watched Sky News early this morning. I watched ABC 24 early this morning, and I thought, what impact is that having on these kids? What impact is that having on these kids? How is that helping their self-worth at the moment? And I would just ask again, in terms of where we are at the moment, there is a review underway it is wide-ranging and it is looking at the issues that confront us in terms of this program. There are people on the ground. I would ask this Parliament and the leaders and those others that will benefit from the briefing today to to move forward with the kids front and centre, have that briefing and then make your own judgments about what we think is the best next steps.